Whew. 1986. I remember when I looked in the mirror, I was like, why are my lips so big? 1986, I remember looking in the mirror and saying, why is my skin so dark? I don't like that version of me. 1986, I looked in the mirror and I said, why do you care about adverbs and your brother doesn't? 1986, I looked at my grandmother and I said, why do I have to follow you around? I'm grown. 1986, I realized that I was still learning who I was. So I figured out at the end of the day, my life was a miracle. I was able to breathe. I was able to dialogue, have conversations. I was able to figure out those things that matter and don't matter. 1986, I was 10. See, I grew up in the South. And in the South, it's slow. There's mud, there's dirt, there's the Piggly Wiggly. My mom had me when she was 15, so she was young. Both of us were on the couch with my grandmother getting lessons about life. So in 1986, when I was 10, I fell in love with the world just a little differently than my mom did. Because then 5 years later, I was supposed to have a kid, right? So my grandmother raised the entire family. I remember being in the same room, living room with my uncle and his kids. I remember growing up arguing with my uncle over, like, how do you answer the door? And I was right, because I was 10. So my point is, at the end of the day, it is this joy of expression as a 10-year-old that I get to ask these questions now at 43. Because that's the guy I ask, how's your day going? That's the kid I ask, where should I go next? That's the kid I ask, should I get a PhD? He said no. So 1986 was a very special year for me. It allowed me to grow into this world that I didn't know anything about, but I loved. For some reason, I loved. I remember being the only black kid in advanced math. I remember thinking that was the coolest thing because I could speak for my people. Because when I know the question of how to add this, subtract this, multiply that, I spoke for my grandfather, who didn't have the opportunity to be in that class. And when I had the opportunity to speak for my people, I realized that was power. But it wasn't power like strength. This was power and curiosity. And I found that curiosity just allowed me to become who I am. And I'm more curious now than I was at 10. See, curiosity didn't kill me. It allowed me to grow. It allowed me to express myself in poetry. It allowed me to feel the things that are around me that suck up energy. And I get to put energy back into that curiosity. See, curiosity is a two-way street. It's never just me asking the question. Sometimes it's me giving the answer. So in 1986, I realized at 10, because I was in double digits, I knew more than I did at 9. And that 9-year-old was like wondering, hey, who are you? What happened to you? So when I was looking in the mirror and seeing my lips and seeing my ears and seeing the color of my skin and seeing I'm the only thing that looks like that in math, I had to question that a little bit. But I had to own it too. So my story is about ownership. And my story is about feeling the thing that you can't describe and loving it to death. My feeling is real and is sympathetic to who I am. And it gave me a voice in poetry, and it gave me words I couldn't spell. And I fell in love with adverbs and adjectives. I fell in love with sentences. I fell in love with the idea of taking a sentence and making it mine. I fell in love with inharmonics because we are all inharmonics. Some of you may be an A flat, but I'm writing you as a G sharp. Because that's what I can do at 10 years old. So my story is about this journey that we're all on together. Some say that when you trip, not fall, that this actually is the trip, not what you take. So I've just learned to embrace this thing, these lips, this color, this journey. I learned to embrace it with authentic path because I am continually moving. I am continually moving, and I'm moving with everyone, and all of us are moving. And that 10-year-old, he's still there. He's waiting for me to bring the next version of who I am into this world. So my story is about a gift. My story is about sharing, commitment, and owning these words. Thank you.